Hey guys, Craig here, coming at you from my webcam. So yeah, this ain't the kind of video I normally do, but some downright freaky stuff's been happening to me lately, and I just want to talk about that with you. So, you know how much I love Pokemon, right? I did that Fire Red Nuzlocke, and I did a bit of shiny hunting on Emerald. You know, my favourite game is Platinum. Anyway, I've got a favourite Pokemon. Everyone has. Basic fans like their Pikachu and Charizard, some real fans might go with Gyarados or Garchomp. Then you get the hardcore fans who love Legendaries or Mega Evolutions. Sometimes you get those fans who have the most downright strangest favourites, like Skiploom or Stunfisk. Hey, there might even be some headcase out there that likes themselves a bit of Gardevoir. If you know what I'm talking about, hehe. So what kind of Pokemon do I like? Well, I like myself some Mudkip. I enjoy using Flygon, and I think Infernape is just fireman. Pun totally intended, But there's just one Pokemon that I can always get behind because I just love Psychic types. Sure, Mewtwo is super cool and Alakazam is the most wise and highly recognised pocket monster. But the one I like the most is not as well known. It's an overlooked masterpiece, and that is Solosis. Nah, I'm pulling your leg. I'm joking, calm down all you angry commenters. But for real, my favourite Pokemon of all time has got to be Drowzee. Now, a lot of people don't like Drowzee. I mean, come on, I know my boy Drowzee's got a bit of chub to him, but he's not a bad lad, really. People don't tend to talk about Drowzee, and I can't imagine why. He's got a fun design, he's a psychic type, and he's got some cool moves. But then you get those people who go around saying that he's creepy and that he's a spooky Pokemon because of Hypno and its Pokédex entry. I'm going to read out some of Drowzee's Pokédex entries right now. In yellow it says, if you sleep by it all the time, it will sometimes show you dreams it has eaten in the past. In silver it says, it remembers every dream it eats. It rarely eats the dreams of adults because children's are much tastier. In emerald it says, if your nose becomes itchy while you are sleeping, it's a sure sign that a Drowzee is standing above your pillow and trying to eat your dream through your nostrils. Okay, yeah, I get it. Drowzee's got a creep factor to it, and it's not the most friendliest of Pokemon, but for real, I found that out the hard way recently. Okay, so I've been working on some new videos for a while. I wanted to play a bunch of Pokemon games, whether it be fan games, ROM hacks, or lesser known spin-offs. I also wanted to relive the first Pokemon game I ever played, which was Pokemon Blue. Yeah, I know, Red is supposed to be better, but I just found Blastoise calling to me. Not really, that's just what my mother bought me at the time. So I went on to eBay and got myself a cheap second-hand Game Boy Color. It seemed a bit worn and torn, like some idiot kid just threw it on the floor whenever he got mad or something. And I also got myself a copy of Blue. I mean, the cartridge wasn't all that cheap. You'd be surprised how much those games go for these days. A few days later, and I get my Game Boy and my copy of Blue, and I start playing it, just testing things out. I got all the way up to a route where on the other side there's a Snorlax snoozing away or whatever. Then I walk around in the grass looking for a Drowzee because I want one on my team. It's my favourite Pokemon, so I have to use it. I find one, I catch it, and I name it Norman because I think it's funny to name Pokemon generic real people names. I once named a Chansey Stacy because it just looked like a Stacy to me. So everything's fine, right? I get my pal Drowzee, I name it something funny, and I keep playing the game. Well, I go to bed that night and I have this strange dream. It was like Hypno's Lullaby, the fan game, but Drowzee was there instead, and at random times the Drowzee from the anime would pop up, wiggle his fat fingers at me and say his name with the same voice used from the anime. You know, the whole Drowzee, Drowzee. Drowzee. Yeah, I know, it's dumb. So when I wake up, I remember the dream. It was crazy and vivid, right in the forefront of my mind. But I swear down, right, my nose felt all tingly. Like, that's not normal, right? I don't get to play much of Blue that day because I was busy with all the recording, and for the rest of the day I don't really think about my nose. I go to bed and I have another dream. This time it's just simply Drowzee evolving into a Hypno after a tough battle against a Kingler. It was a lot like the anime, which is cool to see. Man, I hope they add anime style battles in Gen 10. Gen 9 looks all sucky right now. I bet they won't even do Crystal Onyx, which would be a huge missed opportunity. Enough digressing. So I wake up in the morning, and instead of my nose feeling all tingly, my nose felt all stuffy, like I had a cold or something. It's the middle of summer and I know summer colds are a thing, but this was so random. You all know my girlfriend Steph, right? She's not a fan of Pokemon and I try to teach her about it all the time. She still thinks that Charmander is secretly just a fire Pikachu. So she stops over at my house on the next night. I haven't gotten through Rock Tunnel yet and my Drowzee hasn't quite evolved yet. Both me and Steph end up having the same dream this night. It was just a Drowzee standing there and staring at the sky. Then a cloud takes the shape of a Drowzee and then becomes purple mist that the real Drowzee eats. It's so freaky. When we wake up, Steph has a tingly nose and she feels a bit creeped out. My nose at this point feels sore, like when you have a cold and you just rub it so often that it becomes all red and sore. We talk about how we both had the same dream, and both of us are having some sort of problems with our noses, so we decide to just not sleep in the same bed until this is resolved. I mean, at this point I'm starting to wonder if Drowzee is real and chewing on my dreams, but I am hopeful that it's just a random cold, and I was also hoping Steph wouldn't catch my nasty cold either. So I don't play the game for a week or so because I was trying to get some recording done. If you're new here, I usually don't use my webcam when I've recorded gameplay because I don't want my pretty face to be too distracting for you all. The dreams were about the same level of crazy, and the only symptom I had was a sore nose, so I decide to book an appointment with my doctor, an emergency one. I go down there, they look at my nose, and the only thing they could suggest to me is that I might somehow be allergic to something or I'm rubbing my nose in my sleep. Like, what does any of that even mean? Surely allergic reactions don't cause just a sore red raw nose that's a mix of peeling and being all scabby. I know it's disgusting, but shut up and keep listening to me. I finally get around to evolving my Drowzee into a Hypno, and I get out of Rock Tunnel. I go over to Lavender Town and I heal. I save, turn off a game. At least I thought I did, but I must have been so tired that all I did was turn the volume off and just drop the Game Boy on my floor and just left it there. I get myself all cozy for bed, I get in and I go to sleep. Now this is what I call having a nightmare. I'm having this crazy dream where a Drowzee is wiggling its fingers at me from a distance, getting closer and closer. It's just a dark purple void background and no sound. When the Drowzee gets close to me, it stops in its tracks. It then says its name in that ever so lovely anime voice and opens its mouth. For some reason, it's like a shark with a few rows of razor sharp teeth. Then it chomps my face off. I wake up in a panic, I'm all sweaty, and I look around the room. In the corner of my eye, I swear I saw a Drowzee, but it was gone in a flash. It just disappeared. My nose hurt even more than normal, and I could see a dull light coming from my floor. I looked down at the floor to see that my Game Boy was still on, so I obviously wasn't asleep for long at all. 10 minutes maybe, so I pick up my Game Boy to turn it off, and for some reason it was on my Drowzee stat page, which confused me so much because I could have sworn that I evolved my Drowzee Norman into a Hypno. Like, What are the chances? How does that even work, man? It freaked me out, to say the least. So what did I do? I went out to my shed, I got a big mallet, I brought my Game Boy outside, and I smashed it and the cartridge to bits. I never want to see another Drowzee or Hypno ever again, and after I dealt with the game, my nose slowly recovered. Are Drowzees real? Was my game haunted? Did a Drowzee come and eat the dreams out of my nose? I don't really want to find out the truth, but if you've got any ideas, feel free to stick them down in the comments below. Steph's fine too, by the way. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on this Drowzee fiasco, so smash the like button, subscribe for more whatever, and this is Craig signing off. Bye guys, have a good one.